Coronation Street's Gail Platt has had one of the rockiest love lives in Weatherfield, and actress Helen Worth has also endured her fair share of romantic drama. With 5 marriages under her belt, poor Gail has had to navigate every marital situation possible and then some, from being driven into the canal by wicked Richard Hillman, Brian Capron, to being widowed for a 3rd time following Joe McIntyre's, Reed Densdale, failed attempt to fake his own death. Now Corrie fans have expressed dismay after learning soap star Helen will be leaving the cobbles after 50 years. Here, the Mirror takes a look at the Coronation Street icon's stormy love life away from the street, including the painful betrayal that made her feel as though she was drowning. Heartbreaking betrayal in 1991, Morecambe Helen married her long-term beau Michael Angelis, who is best known as the narrator of classic children's TV series Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends. The couple had been smitten since the mid-70s and were all smiles on their wedding day, but sadly, their marital bliss was short-lived. Just 4 years after the confetti was thrown, in 1995, Michael confessed he'd had an affair, feeling he had no choice but to be honest after learning a newspaper would be running a story about his infidelity. Opening up about this dark time during a 2001 interview with The Mirror, Helen admitted, "Nothing can ever prepare you for the day your husband sits you down and tells you he is having an affair. My marriage was everything to me. It was the foundation on which everything else was built. I had been with Michael for nearly half of my life. I never imagined that we wouldn't grow old together. When he told me, everything just went black. Things started to make sense. Maybe I realized right away that something like that had been bound to happen. Things hadn't been right for some time, but, naively maybe, I didn't think it was serious." She continued, "The pictures were about to be published and he knew he had to tell me fast," she continued. "He just said he was having an affair. I went through every emotion. I was hurt. Then angry. So angry. I tried to tell myself it wasn't happening. The worst thing was that I knew it was going to be in the papers the next day. To know that the rest of the world had to know about my pain was just unbearable." Although they initially tried to mend their broken relationship, it became apparent the damage had been done, leading to many heartfelt discussions about where exactly they'd gone wrong. Helen, now 73, said, "I can't describe how hard it was," she recalls. "Everything was slipping away and I couldn't do anything to stop it. I'd be up in Manchester, just trying to get on with the job and telling myself everything would be okay. But maybe I knew, deep down, that it was never going to be okay again." They eventually called it a day in 2001 when more photos emerged of Michael with his mistress, the Welsh model Jennifer Colasci, who he went on to marry. Expressing that she felt as though she was drowning and being dragged down as their relationship imploded, Helen used work as a coping mechanism. She admitted, "I was afraid to let go. I just couldn't imagine a world that didn't have Michael in it. But in the end, I didn't have a choice. I had to accept it. It was either accept it, or go under, and I was never going to do that. I'm a survivor. It'd just never been put to the test until then." Reflecting upon the turmoil they endured, Helen revealed that she doesn't bear a grudge, explaining, "He was called a love rat and a cheat. But he wasn't. That's not how it was. Things are never that easy. He just met someone who made him happier than I could. It wasn't a crime. It was just desperately sad. I know now that Michael suffered as much as I did. He still loved me when he left. It tore him apart that he was hurting me. He would never willingly have caused me pain. He is the gentlest man I know. Helen and Michael remained friends after their divorce, and would regularly have lunch together until his death in 2020. Finding love again after remaining single for some years, Helen found love again with Trevor Dawson, a deputy headmaster 7 years her junior. The pair met at a friend's 90th birthday bash, and say it was love at first sight. Speaking with The Mirror in 2016, smitten Trevor confirmed he was a Corrie fan, sharing, "We watched the show together. I had always been a fan going back some years. I used to watch it with my mum. Of course, Gail was my favorite." After keeping their blossoming romance under wraps for more than a year, Helen and Trevor said "I do" at St James' Church in London in 2012, surrounded by many fellow Coronation Street stars. As they left the ceremony, the newlyweds were also greeted by nearly 200 cheering well-wishers, all of whom were happy to see Helen loved up once more. Thanking her guests at the time, Helen said, "It's been the most fantastic day, it has exceeded all expectations. We are thrilled that so many of our friends and family could be here to celebrate with us." Years later, and it would appear Helen is still besotted by her second hubby. During an appearance on This Morning back in 2021, she gushed, "I met Trevor about 10 years ago and I just thank my lucky stars really. Has just gorgeous. Do you have a story to share? Email me at julia.banham@reachblock.com."